What up? Way back when, before all these Smash clones started hitting the scene, before Aang fought Ren and Stimpy, before Batman fought LeBron James, and oh shit, there's a Lego game too? With all of these companies holding their IP in their own little box, you'd think they would eventually do what Nintendo did and make one of the most successful games they ever made, with a franchise selling over 75 million units worldwide. Do you remember Ultimate, the game that came out in like 2018? That one game makes up half of those sales. A gaming company making their own fighting game with their own IP seems like a one-way ticket to the bank. Xbox can make a fighting game where Marcus Phoenix fights Blinks the Cat and people would lose their shit. And PlayStation would be just as successful as Nintendo. Imagine it. Ratchet & Clank fighting Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper fighting Nathan Drake, and Kratos, a literal god, beating the shit out of a normal cat. Oh wait, PlayStation did do that. And they only did it once? And it was over 10 years ago? Why did they only do this once? Mainly money, I'm sure, but the only other gaming company that has such recognizable characters in an IP list a mile long is PlayStation. Why only do this once? It's been over 10 years and they've only expanded their roster of recognizable characters. I mean, even Nickelodeon got a sequel to their fighting game. And it's actually good? What the hell, PlayStation? Jesus! This game was so unique and incredibly cool. It is so strange to me that this was a one and done thing. Why did they not make a sequel to this? Why haven't they mentioned it since 2013? Why did PlayStation give up on PlayStation All-Stars was the hypest that I've ever been for a game, ever. Even to this day, it remains there in that top spot of sweet giddy excitement from kid me. Growing up playing every single Smash Brothers and also playing a shit ton on PlayStation, I dreamt of a day where PlayStation made their own unique platform fighter with their precious characters. No one thought it would ever happen, until one day at E3 of 2012 when this trailer was shown. Damn, this gives me chills to this day. This shit was in line with the reveal trailer for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I can't believe they did it. PlayStation actually did it. And it comes out the same year? That doesn't even happen today. I didn't have access to social media at the time, so I'm not sure how everyone else was feeling about this game, but I was spewing out the mouth with excitement. It was vomit. Whoever did the marketing for this game needs a fucking raise bad. They did everything they could think of, and they did it with style. PlayStation had live action trailers, character reveal trailers, trailers that looked like they were shot in a movie, even a trailer that had a collaboration with Robot Chicken. This game was being hyped to high heavens. PlayStation knew they had their Smash Bros, and they were going to squeeze every drop of excitement out of it. The time finally came around for release. It came out a month before Christmas, November 20th, 2012. My grandfather asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I begged and pleaded with him that the only thing I wanted in the entire world was to get PlayStation All-Stars on release day, not on Christmas Day, on the day it came out. I'm sure he wanted to beat my ass for how much I bugged him about this game. He finally agreed and told me this was the only thing I was getting and not to expect anything else on Christmas. Who cares? I'm finally getting a game on release day. Oh yeah, this was also the very first game that I got on the day it actually came out. So that's pretty cool. November 20th rolled around and we went straight to Walmart right after school. And there it was, in the glass case. Brand new, saran wrapped, unopened, and so shiny. I stared at this case the entire way home and dreamt of playing it. I thanked my grandfather 1,000 times and ran inside to play. Every time when I get a new game, when I start it up, I don't touch the controller. I just set it down and see what the opening of the game has in store for me. And like Smash Brothers, All-Stars had one of the coolest fucking intros I've ever seen for a game. PlayStation, please stop the incredible marketing. I already own the game. I'm playing it right now. After that cinematic masterpiece of an intro, I hopped into the game, expecting the time of my life. I would be playing this game for years to come. This would be my new favorite fighting game. I would play it day and night and never want anything else ever again. My dreams were finally a reality. I was about to play my dream game. Greatness awaits.
Do weeks later.
How could this happen? None have beaten me until now.
I'm so fucking bored. What? That's it? All this hype, all this waiting months to play the game, all this talk, watching the trailers over and over and over again just to play the game for 2 weeks and be bored? What in the actual fucking shit happened? This can't be possible. This should have been a touchdown, a slam dunk, a field goal. I don't watch a lot of sports. What other sports now do you want to use for this? This should have been so successful. It reviewed well enough and had everything going for it. The general public seemed like they liked it. Reviewers liked it. I even liked it for the 2 weeks that I played it. I'm gonna find out why this didn't work. I'm gonna find out why PlayStation All-Stars neglected greatness. First of all, PlayStation knew this was going to be compared to Smash Bros. So in order to be different and unique, they decided to change everything about the elimination aspect of defeating your opponents. Instead of building up percentages by damaging your opponent, they came up with the idea for supers. To activate supers, you have to collect AP, and you can collect AP by beating the shit out of your opponents to build up your super meter. Supers are basically final smashes, except they vaporize your opponent instantly and come with 3 different tiers. Level 1 being a harder to use, more precise execution. You usually have to be right next to your opponent and pray they don't move. You also have to make sure you're not hit while using it. One itty bitty bit of a scrape will cause the super to stop and you lose all of your AP that you just built up. Level 2 is stronger, more precise, and varies depending on the character. Some characters can control this to have multiple eliminations or can go all the way across the stage horizontally and vertically. Some of these supers are extremely OP. Level 3 is obviously the most powerful and guarantees at least 1 elimination. They even play a cool mini cutscene when using it. Some are one and done, and some allow you to control the character for maximum damage. I was able to get 6 eliminations out of most of the level 3 supers. Next are the move sets for the characters. Every character has a different attack for 3 of the PlayStation buttons. Square is a normal attack, triangle and circle are special attacks, and cross or X, whatever the hell you want to call it, is jump. Pressing any of the attack buttons and tilting the analog stick in a different direction changes the type of the attack. Tilting the right analog stick allows you to grab your opponent and throw them in that direction. I actually found that incredibly weird. To grab your opponent and throw them, you have to tilt the right analog stick. It just felt off every time I used it. L1 and R1 is block and dodge roll. R2 is how you use your super, and L2 is taunt. Most of the characters' movesets feel amazing, and everyone who played this game knows how OP Kratos is. But I actually had a ton of fun using Cat, Dante, and Sly Cooper. Those familiar to the channel probably know who my favorite is, but my personal favorite, in case you didn't know, is Cole McGrath from Infamous. He is so fast-paced and you can chain so many different combos together. It's really fun to use him, but that's kind of how most of the characters in this game feel, so hats off to the developers that made this game. How do? At least fighting mechanics seem alright. They do change a few things from traditional platform fighters, but that doesn't really affect the fun of the game, right? Wrong! Now playing this game is fun for the first few hours. However, it gets old really fast. Faster than it should. And why? Because of this thing right here. Now don't get me wrong, it is so cool to use these supers and see all these big heavy attacks from the game series the character is from. But when this is the only way that you can eliminate opponents, it kinda sucks. Having this as an option is good, and it's fun, and it's creative. But don't make it the only option. Part of what makes the other platform fighters so fun is the buildup of constantly attacking your opponent and wearing up that damage over and over to give them the final blow. The match could be 1 minute, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, who cares? But the buildup of damage is what makes the fight interesting. It could be anyone's game depending on your strategy and how you fight. The fight can change at an instant at any given time. With supers being the only option, it kind of deflates that buildup and pressure. You can just save up your AP for your level 3 and wipe everybody out. There's a reason why Smash Bros has this as an option and didn't even have it for the first 2 installments of the franchise. It's OP in some cases and takes away from the skill. It's also not fun to use over and over and over again. It kills your opponent instantly, so it's not really as rewarding. You can just button mash in All-Stars to build up your AP and defeat your opponent. And there are defensive moves you can make to counteract this, but again, it's just not as fun and takes away from that build-up. PlayStation shot themselves in the foot trying to not be like Smash Brothers, that they took out the one thing that makes these fighting games so replayable. The standard attacks are fine in my opinion, and some of them allow for some really cool combos. But that's really it. And some characters have such a lame moveset, like Big Daddy for example. He is a heavy, so he can't really move as fast, but his square attacks is just a simple one-hit thing and you can't use it to combo with anything else. You might as well not even touch the square button while using them. And that does apply to some of the other characters in the game. As for the feel of the game, PlayStation All-Stars just feels incredibly floaty. There's this like rubber band effect that happens when you get knocked into the air, and sometimes it feels like you are never going to land, which makes it also incredibly frustrating. Just let me land, please! There are way too many characters with guns, which makes the match so damn annoying. One's got a sniper that knocks you back, one's got a gun that knocks you back, one's got a rocket launcher that knocks you back. We need gun control in this game. And some guns, like Dante's, don't do a damn thing. His entire triangle moveset basically just shoots a bunch of Nerf darts at you. You know what? I actually take that back, because some Nerf darts actually really hurt. Dante might as well just throw packing peanuts at the opponent. There are actually items to use in this game. Most of the items are used to take away your AP or at least knock it out of you. Some of the items are recognizable from PlayStation games, and some seem so generic. It's just a fish. One thing that I do like about this game are the stages. Each stage does feel like it's pulled directly from the game that inspires it, which is good, because that's what it is. There are even stage hazards and other characters from that universe that jump in, and the developers did something that feels unique and I personally haven't seen in another platform fighter. Other PlayStation universes start to invade the stage, so each stage is technically two. The music changes and even some characters from that invading universe join in. The Patapons invade the Hades stage from God of War, Killzone robots invade Parappa the Rapper stage, Sly Cooper invades Alden's Tower from Infamous. This is really fun and I wish we could see more of it. The only downside is that it doesn't change. The Patapons always invade Hades, Killzone robots always attack Giant Master Onion, and so on. So that means the same dialogue and music is played at the exact same point every time during the match, which can get annoying. But that would be a ton of work to make random universes invade the stage every time. So I get why that doesn't change. One thing that should have changed though, or at least had variety, was the story mode.
Aren't you adorable?
This is where PlayStation All-Stars starts to feel so boring and unique at the same time. The fighting part of the story mode is the same, nothing really changes with that, but where this mode shines is the beginning, middle, and end cutscenes for each character. That's right, each character has their own custom dialogue, cutscene, and something that was so damn cool that PlayStation teased at the beginning intro of the game. Nemesises. Why does that sound so weird? Each PlayStation All-Star was paired up with another All-Star that they actually interacted with. Special cutscenes were made to show these characters interacting. They had their own dialogue and cheesy reasoning as to why they have to fight.
Do you have any cake by chance?
I'm not looking for cake, princess. I'm looking for special people. Have you seen any?
Well, there's no need to be rude about it.
This honestly is the coolest part of the game to me. They even got the original voice actors to voice the characters. Even replaying this, it was the one part that made me sit up and pay attention. Crossovers are always fun, especially when you love all of the characters. But the only thing that doesn't make sense to me are some of the pairings for the Nemesises. I get why Jack and Ratchet are Nemesises. They both originated on the PS2 and they both have little sidekicks. Nathan Drake and Sly Cooper. They're both technically thieves and they're both treasure hunters. Evil Cole McGrath and Fat Princess. What? Are you kidding me? The obvious choice is right there. Evil Cole and Good Cole should have been nemesises. It's so obvious. Now, I am biased because I love Infamous, but come on. Evil Cole runs into Good Cole or vice versa. They have a fight or an argument about what is right and what is wrong, what their morals are and why they have these different stances, and then they fight. Bam. Easy. That would have been so cool to see. Or should I say, so cold to see. I understand if you want to leave now. But at least any of this is in the game at all. It's one of the few things that motivated me to keep playing the game. I just wanted to see every character interact with each other and their nemesis. It was It was honestly very, very cool. The arcade mode has the same pattern every time, which gets so stale. The first stage is always Parappa the Rapper stage. You face off against one opponent, then two, then three, then items start to come in. After 3 matches with 3 opponents, then 2 matches with whoever gets 3 eliminations first. I don't know if you could tell, but I beat arcade mode with every single character, so this got old after the 4th or 5th time. After all the versus matches, then you see the Nemesis cutscene, and finally you face the boss. Well, he's actually not really the boss. He just makes you fight more characters from the game, and you hit his head a few times until he gets a concussion. So absolutely nothing unique about the fighting aspect from the beginning to the end of the arcade mode. I'll just say, out of everything or anything they could have made the final boss say when you defeat him, or just make him say nothing at all, they chose to make him say the same thing every time. Every time. How could this happen? None have beaten me until now. Dude, this is literally the 17th time I've beaten you. That's what this arcade mode is. That's what this whole game is. It's just extremely repetitive. There's no variety in this game. And that's what makes this game lose the fun factor so fast. But this was the first time PlayStation tried this. And that's what sequels are for, to expand and improve on the ideas and mechanics from the very first game. It's too bad PlayStation probably won't ever try anything like this ever again. And that's why I came up with a sequel for them. The premise of this game is simple, but with a twist. The main antagonist of the first game, Polygon Man, is back and wants revenge for never becoming more than just a forgotten mascot. As he goes throughout the universe looking for revenge, he runs into a familiar face, our little buddy Astrobot. And he harnesses the power of a ship, or the PlayStation 5, to become next-genified, and becomes a Polygonal Man, or Terraform Man, I don't know, who cares? He looks nothing like he did before and is basically just a better graphically looking floating head, and vows to destroy everything that came after him in 1995. Astrobot realizes he has to save everything he loves, which is basically all of PlayStation, and knows he needs help. And who does he call? Everybody he's already familiar with. He then goes on a journey throughout the PlayStation universe recruiting various characters. Who does he recruit and what kind of characters are in the sequel, you ask? I'm very glad you asked that because I actually have a list very prepared. I'm kind of surprised that you asked that. Oh, and by the way, anyone from Smash Bros is not going to be on this list for legal reasons or something, I don't know. So Cloud, Sora, goodbye. Goodbye. Nope, you're gonna be in this game. Sorry, you had your chance. Goodbye. And we'll start from PlayStation generation, so PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 5. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Rayman, Mean Kratos, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Klonoa, Tidus, Riku, Amaterasu, Tiramisu, Paul McGrath, Sackboy, Nathan Drake, Joel, The Traveler, Kat, Kutaro, Delson Rowe, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Old Kratos, Ellie, Aloy, Jin, Knack, Bloodborne Guy, Sam, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Atreus, The Destined One, and finally, our star pupil, Astrobot. Next up, mechanics. I just realized that I forgot about Ratchet and Clank, one of my favorite PlayStation characters ever created. So, that's my bad. I'm gonna put them right here. They are in this game. They're right there. My bad. Now this one's kind of obvious, but ditch the whole super thing being the only way to eliminate players. Bring back damage-based percentages. Now keep the supers in the game, but make it to where they only have 2 tiers instead of 3. The first super is really weak and most likely won't eliminate the player unless their damage is already very high. This is just to more give you like an edge or an advantage if you're in a tough spot. Now for the super, or the level 2 or the level 3 from the last game, this has a high chance of eliminating your opponent, kind of like Final Smashes and Super Smash Bros. So just to confirm, the main way you eliminate players is by hitting them over and over and over again, building up that damage to give them the one final blow. That way, when you use your normal attacks, like square, triangle, and circle, they actually have a little bit more weight to them and they feel a little bit more fun to use. The more you hit, the more likelihood you have of eliminating your opponent. And you actually eliminate them by like knocking them off the stage or hitting them into the sky or something like that. That's fun. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And also, and this kind of hurts to say, I really like the Nemesis idea from the first game, but you need to get rid of that completely. Make this game be about all the PlayStation characters coming together to fight that one final boss. You have to actually make them unify to save the PlayStation universe, and that's probably the nerdiest thing I've ever said. I know how I sound. I know how I sound. They all need to join forces to fight Polygonal Man or whatever the f his name is. One more thing. If you can't tell, these drawings were by yours truly, and they don't look great. I just wanted to come up with some really cool concepts and put them into a video, and I thought drawing them would be fun and unique and cool. Could I have just used a whole bunch of PNGs and saved hours of time. And when playing arcade mode or single player mode, when you get to that last level, this guy should be the only thing you're fighting. Give him a moveset, make him more threatening. Don't just put a bunch of different fighters that are purple that you fight to beat him and he puts his head down and just hit his head over and over. That's boring as hell. Make it to where you actually fight him. And when you beat him, you have a chance of unlocking another fighter. That's right, I said unlock. You have to unlock additional characters in this game. I don't care what anyone says, they need to bring that shit back. That is actually fun. That makes you motivated to actually play throughout the game, and each time you unlock a character, it is so exciting. Bring it back. A PlayStation portal opens up and it just shows the silhouette of the character that you're about to unlock. Start to walk through it. They're confused. They see you as a threat and you have to fight them and then convince them to join your team so you can save the PlayStation universe. And you'll only be able to fully defeat teraflop polygonal big ass headman once you unlock every single character. Next are the additional side things you can do in the game. You have to make this game replayable and fun. So I think you should put the gacha machine from Astrobot in this game. To use the gacha machine, you have to play versus matches, single player modes, basically just play the game to earn PlayStation coins. And you use PlayStation coins in the gacha machine to unlock items, characters, stages, in a trophy type format, just like from Super Smash Bros. Melee, where they have their own description, the games are from, the year that it came out. That would be so incredible to see and to learn more about PlayStation. That's honestly how I learned a lot about Nintendo, was from Melee. So throw that shit in this game. And also additionally, you can have all of that fun stuff that fighting games usually come with, like event matches, arcade modes, all-star mode, training, whatever else. Just put a whole bunch of fun fighting mechanic stuff in this game to make it just infinitely replayable. And keep how the stages are invaded by other PlayStation worlds. That was such a sick and cool idea. I would love to see it again and even expanded upon with even more stages and even more different PlayStation worlds coming to invade them. And as a final note, the game should not be called PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. That's way too long. Just keep it simple. So when this hypothetical game of mine gets revealed, eventually, and when that title card is revealed, it'll show PlayStation Versus. And then all the letters start to dissipate, and the only letters left are PSV. PlayStation 5. I know, I'm pretty original. I have a lot of great ideas, like sitting down in front of a green screen talking about video games. And after that super awesome cool title is revealed, the development team pops up, and it's Team Asobi. And I know what you're saying, they'd never made a fighting game before, but they have a genuine love for PlayStation, and it shows that in Astrobot. I trust them to make a game like this. Honestly, they're probably the only development studio that I do trust to make a game like this. And all of this is just a huge wish list of what I would want to see in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. I've honestly thought about this way too much, and if PlayStation used any one of these ideas, including the idea to just make a sequel to PlayStation All-Stars, I would be happy. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Everything I just said is what I want to see in a sequel, because I genuinely want a sequel from PlayStation All-Stars. They did good for the first game. There were some things that they could improve on, but that's what a sequel is for. Super Smash Bros. 64 wasn't perfect, but look at Melee. That game is f***ing incredible. PlayStation All-Stars has such potential, and everywhere I see online, people still talk about this game and how they wish it would get a successor. No one would be upset if PlayStation did this. Honestly, they kind of need to. It would bring awareness to so many of PlayStation's IPs and even introduce some characters to a new generation. I just want to see PlayStation give this another try, and if it fails, hey, at least they tried and fans got a sequel. But if it did good, it would be something that Smash Bros. Desperately needs. Competition. And unfortunately, it seems like PlayStation is the only company that is able to compete with Nintendo IP-wise at least. But, and this is a massive but ass. What if the sequel did so well that years down the line we were able to get a PlayStation All-Stars vs Super Smash Bros. Fighting game? God, that would be insane. That will never happen in a million years, I know, but I'm just word vomiting at this point. Seeing all of my favorite PlayStation characters duke it out again in a sequel with new characters that I've come to love would make me feel that same excitement that I did when the first installment came out. Who knows what will happen? Maybe this is something that's in development right now.
Ever since I saw that teaser trailer of the show's secret level showing Kratos and then it cutting to Jin, it kind of looked like they were about to fight, and it got me dreaming of a sequel to PlayStation All-Stars where it includes Jin, Kratos, Spider-Man, and even Astrobot all duking it out on the same stage. And it kind of made me sad that we'll probably never get to see that. But I can still look at the original with nostalgia. I am very fond of this game. I treasure it, honestly. even if it does lose its replayability very fast and it's kind of boring in some parts. If this truly is the only PlayStation fighting game we will ever get, I won't be sad. That's actually not true, I'll be very sad, but I'll be grateful. I'm grateful that my dream game came true at least once. I'm grateful that I got to see two of my favorite PlayStation characters of all time, Cole McGrath and Ratchet & Clank, fight on the same stage. I am grateful for all of the hard work the developers put into making this game become a reality. I am grateful for... Even just the idea of making a sequel to PlayStation All-Stars... PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. I am... Okay. And all of this is just a huge wish list of mine of what I would... I'm gonna f***ing scream as loud as I can. Ever since I saw that teaser trailer, they get into a fight about what... I don't think I can do that again. I'm gonna f***ing scream as loud as I can. I'm so tired.
Ain't no pain, I'm gonna die in my wrist, in a lie, I won't sleep, all my money, I'm so shit, I don't want, ain't no sense, in a thought, in my chest, in a night, I won't stay, where it's sunny, if I can't leave the block.